Okay, so really quick, this is explained in the procedure that will be at the display. So, and again, you guys are going to have the inside story because we couldn't put this in our literature because we didn't want the EPA to see it. So the EPA really wants everyone to disinfect their own well and submit samples before you open. And maybe we'll say you have to do that at some point in the future. But we're sticking with, no, we're going to offset that by you doing an integrity check. The rule is about making sure you're not getting contamination in your buried, basically in your plumbing and buried piping. So you are going to monitor your leakage in your buried piping. Obviously, you may not be able to determine that the leak is in just your buried piping, because if you have a children's camp, for example, with 12 stools in it, you know, one of those flappers might be leaking a little bit of water. And so you don't know if it's a flapper in a toilet tank or the pipe leading to the building, unless you can isolate them all through valves. We understand this is not a perfect world, this is not a perfect startup procedure, but we didn't want to make it so detailed that you couldn't do it. We made it general enough. And the application to you folks is, we want you to, after you do your inspection, you fire up your system, pressurize it, mark the pressure from your pressure gauge, document it. You don't have to send it to us, but you need to document it because somebody like me may be asking someday. You know, that'd be our way of saying, are you really doing this? Show me your pressure readings. So, but you don't have to send it to us. You just need to tell us you did it. But we do ask you to document it. Turn the pump off, 1 hour later, check the pressure gauge again. Pressure loss over that 1 hour indicates leaks in your system, okay? What do you have to do with that? Is there a pass or fail? No. But through time, if that pressure loss increases year to year, that's going to tell you something, okay? If you're losing a lot of water, you may be thinking, geez, I should try to find out where that's coming from. You don't want to be putting in your on-site wastewater treatment system, right, if it's a bunch of, like this toilet flappers not sealed, right? So there's benefits to you to know if you're leaking water. And there's benefits to us and you if you determine it's from buried piping, because we want you to get that fixed, because we think that's a health risk when you depressurize. So there's logic to this. There's holes in it, no pun, but there's logic to it. So that's part of the required procedure. You have to do that. I'm sorry, I can't say it any more nicely, but that was the trade-off for not making you disinfect your well and making you submit samples before you serve the public. And the reason we didn't require that is because there's negative sides to that too.
So the whole system is up to pressure then? And then it's...
Well, in a perfect world, it would be you could pressurize your buried piping and nothing else and do the pressure test, because you're here, you understand what we're trying to accomplish here. But if we said that, then a bunch of folks and your competitors that don't have the ability to isolate just their buried piping, now what are they going to do? Have to install a bunch of valves? And so we didn't, you understand where we're going, but we try to make this so everyone could do it. We're not trying to get people, we don't want people not to be able to do the startup procedure. We want to protect public health. We don't want to mess with we want it to work for you guys. It's a balance, okay? Okay, and then the last required part of the procedure is flushing. I go to resorts every year, and I'll get a positive, like I said earlier. The guy says, or a gal says, yeah, Paul, I just turned the system on. Okay. But it's ready to serve the public, right? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, so you mean you didn't do any flushing? No. So, we require, again, the procedure says 30 minutes of flushing of your mains, of your underground distribution system. And there's all kinds of issues with that regarding flow velocities and how your distribution is set up and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. It's very complicated. And I'm not an engineer. I probably couldn't help you very much. All I can tell you is that we are saying for flush your systems for 30 minutes, get the crud out that was put in there. You want us to quit there?
No, a couple more minutes.
Yep, okay, thank you. And then, and so that's a required part. Then, the couple of recommended parts, and I'm not gonna get into the detail of this, because I've exhausted my time. So, on our website, we have information on well disinfection. And we would recommend that you disinfect your well and plumbing system. But you are satisfying the law if you do the first three parts and do not do this. This is recommended, not required. Some folks have damaged their wells by disinfecting things improperly. So that's another thing we try to keep in mind. And we can talk about that more at the booth if you want to talk about that later. And then water testing. We would urge you, we think it's a good idea for you to work with a certified lab and collect your own water samples before you serve the public. Get the results. If they're bad, flush more, take another sample. If you find E. coli, call us, because if you have E. coli in your system, you don't want to be serving water, and I'm sorry, the government should be involved. But we think it's a good idea for you to know sort of the status of your water before we show up. It's good from a public health point of view. I think it's good from a business point of view. Trouble is, there's about a week turnaround, and so we didn't require it, because if we have a late season like we did in the last couple of years, then we didn't want you folks saying, no, we can't open. We can't open because we didn't get our water tests back yet. You know, you wouldn't like that very much. So it's highly recommended, not required. Okay, certification. We are developing a portal. It's under development. We at some point you'll be able to get your water test results and certify to us doing the startup procedure by entering a portal via the web. It's under development. Won't be ready for 2016. We'll be sending you a reminder in April, early May of 2016, that you can return that piece of paper and check that you certified that you've done the startup. You don't have to do the checklist with us. Just check you've done this, you followed the procedure and send it back to us, or we give the option of sending us an email. The email address will be on the letter. And then how to prepare. We've sort of covered most of this already with my preliminary, all the other things I've talked about. So I just want to highlight a couple of things. Know those sanitary defects, because if you know them as good as your inspector, you're never going to get blindsided. Because remember, the sanitary defects can, Chris was talking about this, there's a list of them, 11 of them. If we tell you to get them fixed on an inspection report or in response to a back to you or something, and they don't get fixed, your sampling frequency goes up and you will be doing the sampling. So I can't say that, I don't know how to say this nicely, other than learn the sanitary defects and know them as well as the inspectors know, so you don't get blindsided by it. I think that's good business. And then the non-com scoop that we've been sending out for, I think, the last 5 issues have articles on the RTCR, and we'll tell you what the defects are, and that. And so, in summary, you know, the biggest impacts of the RTCR is going to be for seasonal systems, ones that fully depressurize. That definition may change as we negotiate with the EPA over the next couple of years. Make sure you do the startup procedure. Make sure you certify to us doing it. Learn the sanitary defects. Monitoring frequency can increase if risk goes up. And that's all I have. And thank you so much for being